want you to think about this for a moment. If you were to lose your job or your family fell in hard times, how would you get through? Do you have enough money saved to continue making ends meet?
Or do you even know how much money you would need? Unfortunately, many people simply don't. NeighborWorks America recently conducted a survey and found more than a third of Americans have nothing saved for an emergency. Of those who actually do save, almost half say they only have enough money to last 3 months, and that's no good considering the average length of unemployment is more than 7 months.
Now, there are many reasons why people aren't saving. Among them, according to the survey, high household expenses, student loan debt, and flat wage growth. All of these factors could spell trouble and lead to even more debt and even borrowing from payday advances with high interest rates.
Yeah, you know, it's a vicious cycle, one you want to avoid at all costs. So what's the ideal amount of money you should have stashed? Well, financial experts recommend saving at least 15% of your gross income, everything you make before taxes, to prepare for things like job loss, a lengthy illness, or even retirement. If you look at the big picture and think about it, what you're bringing in versus what's going out, it can often seem overwhelming.
But it doesn't have to be. Look at it this way. If you're trying to lose weight, you usually eat less and move more, right? Well, those same principles also apply if you're trying to get your finances in shape. Spend less and save more.
Sue Kushner has played piano since she was a child. In fact, at the age of 54, she still takes lessons.
For the mental well-being that it gives me, it's worth every penny.
Sue is pinching pennies in other places. After decades of marriage, she found herself a divorced mother of 2 college-age kids.
We're not in my mother's era anymore where you quote, rely on a guy for your income. Things happen.
Pamela Gilmore is a financial planner and a lifelong fitness buff. She uses that passion to educate her clients.
I feel there's a lot of parallels between getting and staying healthy and getting and staying wealthy.
First, think of saving money as a marathon. Build your savings endurance.
You really need to save between 15 and 20%.
If your employer offers a retirement plan, choose the maximum contribution. When you get a gift of cash, sock it away. Pamela's one top tip may be the toughest. Put money in savings first thing after payday.
People are doing it in reverse. They're having their life first, and then, oh, if there's money left over every month, I'll save it.
I still have a couple remnants that I have yet to put away.
Sue Kushner has become an avid do-it-yourselfer, refinishing her own hardwood floors, for starters.
The internet can tell anybody how to do what they want to do, and there's great satisfaction in there.
By saving in home maintenance, Sue continues to put away money every month.
I would say 10 or 12%.
Practicing that will someday pay off.
And Pam says a generation ago when people retired, they would usually only have to live on their retirement savings for about 10 years. These days, people retire and may still have another 30 or 40 years for which they'll need to financially plan.
Oh, great advice, including to pay yourself first and then watch that savings add up. Well, there are other steps you can take to build a nest egg for you and your family. According to feedthepig.org, analyze your expenses and budget. That can help you create a timeline to pay off debts and save. You also want to make sure you are living within your means. Bankruptcy expert Elizabeth Warren recommends sticking to the 50-30-20 rule. Needs should be 50%, wants should be 30%, and savings or debt repayments should be 20% of your net income each month. Finally, review your budget from time to time and factor in things like changes in pay and tax refunds. If you have some extra cash, think about saving it instead of spending it. Great idea.
Good idea, yes. And for many people or even businesses who find themselves in a bind, they may turn to fundraising to bring in some extra cash. But these days, it's not the traditional type of fundraising you may be thinking of.
Yeah, if you're on social media, you probably have seen it. Pages set up, for instance, on GoFundMe, asking people to donate to a particular cause. This crowdfunding can be for anything from vacations to healthcare costs to replacing stolen items. You can even use it to try to fund a stem cell transplant.
Come and get it!
When Rebecca Davis found out a stem cell transplant could help her 1-year-old son Hayes take his first steps, she started a crowdfund.
I was born with spina bifida. It's myelomeningeal, so it's like the worst kind of spina bifida.
Davis created a GoFundMe account, Stem Cells for Hayes. Within months, she raised nearly $21,000 and was overcome with the outpouring of support.
It just spread, and it was just a total God thing that people just from all over just donated money, and it was just amazing.
Davis isn't alone in her thinking. She's among thousands of people who have turned to crowdfunding to pay for necessities and luxuries alike.
We started about 2 months ago, and there's been, I think, almost up to 15 donors so far.
Tammy Ross launched a GoFundMe account for her daughter and son-in-law to help offset the cost of fertility treatments and possibly adoption.
She's done what my dream was for her to do, is start your career first and then have a baby. But the other part's just not coming.
Online fundraising sites have created a pathway to fund almost any platform. Couples are even turning to crowdfunding to help make their honeymoon dreams come true.
That's what we'd like, being able to go and just relax and forget about the world and just, enjoy each other's company.
Jared McCracken and his fiancée Megan Austin decided instead of a traditional wedding registry, they would ask wedding guests to fund their honeymoon.
It's not been, $5, $10 donations. They've donated what they would have spent on a gift, and that's kind of that was the intention.
But there are some people who think online fundraising has gone too far.
People are doing it for like materialistic things rather than for things that are actually like dire.
We're a giving society. We really are. When something comes up, some things you don't think might be as important as others.
No matter your opinion, it's working, giving people who may have had too much pride in the past a way to ask for money.
Now, people are also using crowdfunding as a way to start a business, and sometimes they'll even offer their products or their service to a person donating if they give a certain amount. And Lisa, when we say crowdfunding has spanned the world, and it really, we've seen it for everything from people asking for money to pay their bills like rent, or even teachers to buy school supplies.
Oh, I wish they didn't have to do that. Well, you know who else has turned to crowdfunding? Reboot the Suit. Remember, we told you about it in July. The National Air and Space Museum launched a crowdfunding campaign to conserve the spacesuit Neil Armstrong wore on the moon. And get this, they raised more than $700,000. Their goal was $500,000, but they surpassed that in just 5 days. Because of deterioration, Armstrong's spacesuit hasn't been displayed since 2006. The museum plans to display it for the 50th anniversary of Armstrong's moonwalk, but that's not all. Because of all the money raised, the museum has enough money to also preserve the spacesuit worn by Alan Shepard.
That's so cool. Well, while we're talking about the look of things, let's focus on your house. If you ever wanted to really spruce it up, boy, do we have the idea for you. And get this, it can translate into a ton of savings. Up next, we get the lowdown on landscape lighting. Find out why it adds so much more than curb appeal to your home.
And since we're at home, we're also talking hacks. Genius life hacks, that is. We'll learn some simple tips and tricks that can make your life a whole lot easier, safer, and less painful.
Well, this is going to make my life a whole lot better. A little later, we jump into the kitchen to make pan-roasted catfish topped with fried okra. Delmarva Life, we'll be right back.